Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Heart's Frontier. I'm Kate Graham, and we're going to do some live oracle readings. I'm actually so excited. I've got the Empath Oracle deck. That's something I definitely want to use today. Let me know if you are here, if you're watching. Make sure you put a like button on now. That way people will see the notification. Hey, Karen. Yay. I'm always happy when someone comments because, it's just nice to know that things are working. And check out this. This is like a stained, it's not actually stained glass. It's like a stained glass window sticker, but it looks so lovely. Actually, sometimes when the sun comes through it, it'll actually make little colors on my desk on my, hey, Stacy. Awesome. Let me know if you all would like readings. I think what I'll do, as I generally kind of do, is start with a reading for the collective. But I'm also shaking it up. This is something kind of different that I don't normally do. I was feeling like a collective energy reading. I meant to read a specific person today. And so I'm going to read for that. It's kind of like, it feels like a situation, maybe a love situation that isn't a current thing. And so anyways, I was just getting ready and thinking, I really need to read into this energy, whatever this is that's coming through. So I'm going to start with a bit of a different collective energy reading. And if anyone would like to work with me, the links are all below. Most of you know where to reach me. And so if you feel that call, or if you're thinking about Empath Energetics, I would love to chat and connect. I have a few people already letting me know that they're interested, which is really great. In recent times, I'm just sharing this link to the Psychics group. Just give me one moment. But in recent times, when I have launched Empath Energetics, people wait till like the last kind of moment to sign up. So, I kind of have this thing of just like never panicking because I know that people show up kind of closer to the date, and that's when they, feel they can really commit to it. But that being said, this time also feels different. It feels like there's people really, really seriously thinking about it, even a month before we start, because it's going to start in mid-April. So if you don't already know, which I know a few of you who are here do, I'm part of the Side Chicks Facebook group. And so I just wanted to let everyone there know that hi Sahas. I just wanted to let everyone know that I am over here. Free live empath oracle readings. Okay, I would love to know how all of you are doing. I will be doing a bit of collective energy reading, but I will also be reading into this person. So I guess someone who is here, or someone who is going to be watching, and usually perhaps multiple people, might be feeling this energy of this person and wanting some clarity on like guidance with a romantic relationship. It does feel romantic in nature. So here I am. I'm going to pull my Romance Angel Oracle deck. And I was just getting this feeling like someone is watching someone else. And that might sound a little bit creepy. I don't know. But I just had this feeling like someone is being watched. But not interacted with. Hey, Leslie. So it feels like someone kind of lurking, hiding in the shadows, maybe. I'm really curious if this will resonate with anyone who is currently on. Shri, you know what? It's funny. I saw that name and I kind of had a feeling it was you, actually. So I'm glad. I'm glad you made it. Yay. Shri and I did our yoga teacher training together, so it was really lovely to reconnect recently. Okay, let's get into this. I am looking forward to this. So again, I was getting this feeling like there's someone who is lurking. It feels like someone from whoever this is resonating with, someone from someone's past that is like watching you, that is looking at things that you do or thinking about contacting you. But I'm kind of had the sensation that they're not fully in contact with you right now. So let's get some guidance on that. What do we need to know about this person, this mystery person? Okay. And I was getting the feeling, yeah. So I was getting the feeling like they maybe did something to cause you not to be in contact, or that they um kind of like maybe they disconnected, but it doesn't feel like it's a situation that's done. And boy, do I know stories like that. They're kind of like sagas, right? When we have someone, who just drifts in and out of our life like that, and maybe perhaps stays away for a while, it almost seems like not complete. That person is like thinking about you. You can kind of feel their energy. This is something that shows up every now and then for me as well. So what we have here, it says stay optimistic about your love life. So I'm already getting this feeling like they don't have the energy right now to get in touch. It feels like they are overthinking everything, actually. So you in this situation, if you're resonating with this, you have a lot more readiness and emotional openness than this person has. But it's almost like they've seen some sort of change in you recently. I pulled shapeshifting. This makes a lot of sense. So maybe you've shifted something about your appearance or about your life that just has you kind of feeling and looking different. Um, even I haven't changed anything about my physical appearance like dramatically. I do need to give myself a haircut soon, but I haven't changed anything physically about myself in any dramatic way. But I've been hearing from more people since I've been in Scotland that I seem like I'm glowing, or I seem like I'm, full of life, or that I'm powerful, right? Whatever words might come to your mind. It could just be an energetic shift that you've just shape shifted into like a new form of yourself. And so this person has noticed that. It feels like they've noticed it and they're taking it in, and sort of like trying to assess what they could do. But I see them, it says positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So I see that there's like a lot of doubt for you in their ability to move forward. And this is proven from time. So it feels like a situation where they they kind of like, it's like they sort of have it coming in their mind. They sort of have your behavior coming. So it's sort of like they kind of presume that if you were to hear from them, that you'd be like, what do you want? Kind of that you've moved on or you're checked out. But there's also this sort of glimmer of hope for them. So that's what keeps them thinking and overthinking. So it's almost like they don't have enough faith in the situation to be able to move forward right now and reach out to you. But they've also noticed some sort of shift, or they feel like there might be some kind of opportunity for you that they're not exploring. So again, I'm going to do personal readings. So do let me know if you do want a personal reading, something individual. And I'm happy to read from the Empath Oracle deck or anything. I like doing Empath Oracle. But I do want to read on this situation first. And yeah, it's very odd. Normally I would do this as a separate video, but oh well. You can totally come back and watch this, Karen. Yeah, 100%. So I will post this and it will be under the lives. So I think what's different about YouTube is like you go live and then it shows up not in your videos, but like in the live. So thank you also for letting me know if you'd like readings. Oh, I'm so happy that there's like this sweet little group here. I'm just going to double check no one has any questions and no one's getting lost in the sea of trying to make it here. No, you know what? It's Saturday, so you just never know who's going to be able to show up. But I do like having, when we have a few people in this room, I really get this good energy. I can kind of feel all of us like we're hanging out. It's not just me and my plants. I have actually like a bunch of plants in here. I'm going to show off this caravan soon. Yes. Okay. So this person, 3 people came to mind when I'm talking about this, Stacy, man. That's a lot of people to tune into. So really, you can use your intuition. This is for anyone who resonates and relates to this reading. You can use your intuition for who this might be, but at the same time, how we're meant to take psychic and intuitive messages, I truly believe, is like you take what resonates with you. And if there's something that doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit. And so you're just cross-checking your own intuition, because there's very much a possibility that there's more than one person resonating with this specific situation. So I might say a detail that absolutely confirms something for someone, but for you is like, oh, that's not important. like an example, I'm really strongly feeling a basketball. And so I don't know if that resonates with you, Stacey, if one of those three people has a connection to basketball, but that could be related. Okay, so this shape-shifting idea and this idea of like them overthinking, I feel like they're actually like their head is in the clouds. So they have almost like a fantasy about the potential of you, but it's like at 5% or less that they actually have faith in and believe in it. And that's on them. That's like not really to do with you. That's because they doubt their own skill or ability to make like a strong connection. And because of this level up that you've had, it's like you're sort of more intriguing or more interesting to them. And at the same time, it's like you feel further apart from them. So it's like they're trying, hey, Jen, it's like they're trying to do more to try and like to try and prove themselves, but yet they're not showing you. And so if you have any contact with them, it may just be really, really subtle kind of drops. And if they, oh, thanks for the like, whoever did that. Um, that makes sure that more people see this. And the comments are so lovely as well. But yeah, it feels like they're really doubting themselves. So often the energy that I give you in relation to a connection is something that is meant to balance out the connection. So it's not like you can do nothing, but it's also not like you're supposed to be reaching out to them. You can if you want to, if you have a really strong feeling, you're welcome to reach out to this person. But I just don't really see them having the strength to come back with anything because they're very scared that if they were to approach, I hear one more time, if I did it one more time and I messed it up, that could be the end of it. Like it's very dramatic, it feels like very dramatic. This person to all their close people would come across as like very, very emotionally sensitive, but I get the sense that they don't really have that as a general MO. So it's like this big conflict in their mind of who they are and what they're meant to do. I actually kind of get this feeling like the person envisions it's like so extreme. It feels like this person envisions like marriage, like full on like commitment to the nth degree, like not even a typical marriage, like one of those like extreme, amazing, but they also don't see them as capable of that. Like it's really weird. It's really weird. They sort of picture it and then don't picture it, and then they picture it and then they don't picture it. And so this shape-shifting energy and that head in the clouds, it's like they don't really feel very connected to their life. And so they're scared that if they approach you and you've got this sort of new energy, that it's not going to go well. So it's interesting, I tell you to stay optimistic, like, hey, this person, I think will figure it out in time, but it does not feel like right now. So I don't feel a sense of urgency at all in this situation. It also says love yourself first, which I would say is like advice for them. But if that's advice for them and you're part of this connection and you can emanate even stronger self-love vibes, then it automatically has this healing effect. So what you put in that's good in your own body and energy field has this really positive outward effect on those around you. I don't really believe in this, we need to be humbling ourselves and not get too excited. Like if you're excited by life, show up with full excitement, because that excitement's really going to, even if it triggers them, it's going to kind of bring them closer to the idea that this is possible. So the thing that I'm telling you to do is to actually just have a bit of faith, stay optimistic, put a bit of self-love into this, and understand that if they were to come forward or if you were to reach out to them, it's like you're starting from like a ground zero point. That type of energy, not holding in the past, not trying to make something really amazing happen out of, literal scraps or breadcrumbs or nothing right now. Or maybe they're just hinting at things and it's very passive. It says your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. So really expect the best and also know that you're starting from ground zero. So it's like you have this whole big journey potentially ahead of you, but it's almost like you're starting fresh. Something really important about that energy. So you may want to do some forgiveness practices, some releasing of your own fears as it relates to this connection. And then we have ocean, ebb and flow. So I'm going to pull another card for just us as a collective. This ocean and ebb and flow, I actually see them wanting to take you somewhere where there is ocean connection, or maybe picturing that. I just see that the ocean's really important for one of these people who is involved. Hey. Okay, so let me know if you would like a reading. I am going to start on the personal readings very, very shortly. It's like the most fun and the most clear reason that I'm here. Oh, I am going to pull some earth magic for our entire collective. So that closes the, romance person. If you have a specific question, I'm happy to answer it. But I also really wanted to pull from the Empath Oracle deck today. In the spirit of supporting the empath, in the spirit of supporting the Empath Energetics new program, round 5. So this is the 5th time I'm going to be running this program, which means I believe in it, because I would never do something, repeat it unless I really stood by all the principles that I've taught. Ooh, I just dreamed that I said that a few days ago. Ooh, that's very strange. I don't know if I've ever had like a true dream recall moment on a live YouTube. That's interesting. Well, thank you for being here, everybody. That's kind of magical. da, 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 da. Oh, I'm curious what you're asking how about, Shri. I'm happy to answer, but I'm curious what you mean. So how, what question, how? I think that's also like, that could be a really big philosophical question as well. So the reason that I kind of made this face when I was pulling these earth magic cards is because I was like, hey, we're done with the reading. And I sort of thought when I said that, I'm like, this person's going to come up again. I just have this feeling. Yes, Shri, I totally will speak to that as well. I'll do a reading or two and then I'll speak to that for sure. So we have Milky Way perspective, and this to me is about shifting your perspective, but also them getting perspective. So it does feel like they've had this, like I said, 5%. I think in the past it would have been 1% that they believed in your future together. Now it's at 5%, right? So it's loading, it's just being a little slow. But it could be like one of those older downloading things where it's like slow, speeding up, slow. So who knows which side of this you're on. But the Milky Way perspective, I kind of actually had this feeling too that they look at the stars. The ocean is where they kind of want to take you, maybe where they go in their visions and their fantasies. But in reality, when they look at the stars, it's almost like they have this super romantic view of, we're under the same stars and I want to be able to connect to your energy through that. So if you ever have this feeling where you think of them and you're looking out at the stars, it could be that they're very much thinking of you at that time. Again, not a whole lot you can do with that right now. And they are going to be taking their time here. They're in their own sanctuary. I see them spending a ton of time alone. And I think this is a difference than how they've been in recent times. So it's where they've gotten a bit of this perspective shift themselves. And so it's like they've witnessed you having this change in life. And then also they're having a bit of a reawakening of themselves. But it's because they're spending time alone. So it's like you don't really want to go barge into the cave when someone's really contemplating their life. Honestly, you'd rather talk to them once they've come to a place of understanding with internally, because you'd rather share in that when they're ready to exit the cave. And so if you can kind of respect their process that way and have forgiveness about how things went in the past, it could be that you do hear from them around the new moon, or that you feel connected to them when the new moon arrives, and this one or the next one, like this new moon or the next one that comes after that. But I just had to chuckle because this is like my promise, my engagement card. And remember I said that it feels like they're being really serious, like just like thinking about commitment, thinking about marriage. It's almost like if they're going to come back, they're going to come in full force, and it might blow you over, kind of like knock you off your feet. And so it is sort of not sweep you off your feet, but like really knock you over, kind of be shocking. So prepare yourself. If that whole thing was resonating with you, then yeah, prepare yourself. That's funny. Okay. And then we also have be authentic, which says be real and true to who you are and how you feel. So this is not a time to go trying to like fake who you are or create a new version of who you are. It's like keep doing exactly what you're doing and more, but focusing on yourself, your self-love, because that is something that they need to see role modeled. We all need a role model at times. And there are times where we don't really feel that until we see it in someone else. Like, have you ever been inspired by someone else and you see someone do something and you go like, you know what? I think I could do that, or I think I'm ready for that. That happens to be sometimes like when I see runners, I'm like, I could be a runner, I get inspired by it. Okay, let's look and see who, maybe it will happen for you, Leslie. Maybe it will. Okay. Da-dum-dum-dum. Yeah, sounds like they need the courage to say something. So I think that's true of that person reading. The courage that they need. And you know what's funny is like, yeah, we could talk about this being about like bravery or having courage or not having courage. Um, and at the same time, like if you were to talk to them, I think they would talk about it as readiness. I don't think they think of themselves as not courageous. I actually see themselves as like they think of themselves as quite heroic and tough and kind of like having this attitude about things. And but the courage itself, it's more like readiness. They're like, no, I need to prepare this. I think it's kind of like avoidance. I think you're right, Leslie. I'm just trying to like tune into their energy. Their energy is almost like argumentative about that. And it kind of feels like it's because they don't want to like admit fault in that kind of way. And it's like it would be better if we respected them as like, yes, they are going through their process, even though it might be like, man, buck up. Or, person, buck up. Okay. Leslie, you love a reading. Shri, love a reading. Karen, I'm going to write these down actually, just so I don't have to keep going back. That's smart. Real smart. Let me know if anyone else would like a little reading. I've got Empath Oracle cards here, so that's what I'm going to use. And then if there's any time, I'm happy to take any extra questions you might have about specific situations in your life or maybe areas of your life or anything like that. And then I'll also answer Shri's question because I think it is an interesting one to share. Leslie. Yay. Oh, hey, everybody. Okay. Leslie, and then we have Shri, and then we have Karen, and then we have Shri's question, and then awesome. Joe, and we've got Joe and Jay and Stacy. Oh, Leslie. Oh, yeah, he's a perfectionist. That's the thing. You know what? I felt this total perfectionist energy as well. So it's like, if you even have the thought of like, oh, this person needs to change this, it's like they just have such resistance about that. So what we can do on our side is always just fully work towards, I guess, the balancing of what might be going on with them. So if you can kind of frame it that way. Empath Oracle. So in honor of the Empath Energetics new program, round 5 beginning, which there are some grads in here too, which is nice. I let all Soul Circle grads know they can jump in and get Oracle readings anytime. I wanted to pull from this beautiful Empathic Oracle deck by Steve Wilson and Michelle Motuzos. So she designed the first Oracle deck I ever used, which was a Shamanic Healing Oracle deck. Hey, Aid. Oh, it's nice to see everybody. And by everybody, I mean empath grads, some of them showing up. It's very nice. Okay, Leslie, you have mountains. I'm going to read these too, but I might not read all of them. Some of them are a little long-winded. Okay, buckle up, Leslie. Empaths tend to experience steeper precipices of energetic and emotional experiences, each one at times seemingly insurmountable. This, though, in itself creates more mountains to climb. Could it be possible that the gift is found in the challenge of the climb to understanding what is unfolding? So you're being asked to see this experience as a journey to reward. And I think that's important, right? When we focus on and we fixate on the frustration of something, we're putting a lot of energy out there that kind of creates more of that situation, right? Okay, this, say you have a work situation that's really bothering you. Focusing more on the part of it that's bothering you and then telling 5 different people about how it's bothering you is really going to have you looking for how you are bothered. It's not going to have you. And it's a very simple concept, but we can really get away from it quite easily. So it's sort of asking you to say, like, see it as you're reaching this peak of a mountain. You are challenged, and then you are meeting that challenge. You're rising to that challenge. I'm feeling really also called to talk about my recent experience because I climbed a mountain and I did not think I could do it. And I posted about it today. So you might have seen that come out if you're watching my social feeds. But like the mountain like really seemed insurmountable to me. We got up like halfway through, I think. And I was like, okay, are we almost there? Because I thought we didn't have to go to the whole top of it. And it's sort of confusing, I guess, to explain, but like we were climbing this mountain and I kept looking at this pile of rocks that they said, oh, we're headed up there. I went, cool. That's where we're going, this little pile of rocks. And I was really, already at this point. So again, we're like almost maybe halfway, 2/3 of the way up. And it's 2,000 feet above sea level. Okay. So I'm not even used to doing that. I don't even know if I've ever been that high or seen mountains like that. To be quite honest, it's just not something that's around in Ontario. I've seen some mountains in Quebec and in Costa Rica, but like they're very different climates and everything as well. So anyway, this story, I saw this like little pile of rocks almost halfway up the mountain. And I thought that was our destination. I thought that was like close to where we were going. And I'm, huffing and puffing, but not bad, but also like, oh man, this is definitely pushing my body beyond what it's used to. I really wasn't even working out before, like not really getting my heart rate up to that really wild amount that is actually needed when you're ascending like that. And I was taking my time trying to like just tell myself, you can do this, but also really filled with a lot of doubt. I didn't let it show very much, but I was really like, these people might need to leave me halfway up the mountain and pick me up on the way down. Cause like, who knows? Who knows? And I was like, why did I choose to do this to myself? And once we got to this little pile of rocks, I said, okay, how, I'm like, how close are we? And it was like, oh, we have to go up there. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's somehow another mountain stretching out like beyond this. And I was filled with so much doubt at that moment that I made a joke, which was more serious than I let on, but I made a joke that, if needed, they might just need to leave me halfway up the hill and pick me up on the way down. And one of my friends who was there said, no, you can't come all this way and not get to the top. That just wouldn't do. And I was like, you're right. That just wouldn't do. So if something doesn't work, so Leslie, there's challenges in your life. If something's not working for you, don't just let it be. Face it. Get over it. Get, on top of, ascend whatever that thing is. It's not meant to stand in your way. It's meant to lift you higher. And the same way, I was climbing this mountain. It was a lot easier after I embraced no, I'm making it to the top. So I wasn't still telling myself, well, I might not make it. I might not get to the top here. It was a really good, really good metaphor for just facing your self-doubt, right? Like it was just not even a metaphor. It's just an actual situation where I'm facing my self-doubt head on. And once I got to the top, it was like almost everything in my spirit lifted. And I felt part of it is the land, because I am, connected to my ancestors here. Like the land gives me maybe more power. But I felt like everything was so playful. I was just running around on the top of the mountain. And it's funny because halfway up, I thought I wasn't going to even be able to physically do it. And then at the top of the mountain, I'm filled with so much elation and so much peace and also freedom and also pride in myself. So it's like if I had only embraced that at the start, I wonder how that would have all gone. And so it was a really great lesson. The next time I go up a mountain, I'm saying I'm getting to the top. Doesn't matter, right? That type of determination. It doesn't need to be like, I need to get through this. It's like, I'm going to really enjoy getting to that peak. I remember that feeling of elation being at the top and of freedom. It was like a little playground, and there was these little, they call them lock-in, like little pools of water all at the top. It was seriously the stuff of my dreams. If you have not seen my photos of it, then please, message me after. I'll share them with you. This could be talking about my divorce and love life. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it's like whatever story you're saying about this being some big challenge or some thing that's kind of against you or keeping you down or not possible to get over, like just write that out. It's so not helpful. Hopefully that story was relating to, because I was feeling really called to share it. It was really silly. The experience of kind of just watching myself go through that. Yeah, very interesting. So Leslie, let me know if there's any other questions that pop up, if there's like a yes, no, or any type of something you want me to explore. I'm going to keep moving on to Shri, and then I'm going to actually share my answer to Shri's question, and then I'll keep going with Karen, Joe, Jay, and Stacy. Okay. So, Shri, I pulled two for you. I think I'm going to read more of the one, but I did want to share this one as well. So we have gaslighting. And if you've not heard the term gaslighting, like it is poorly used a lot actually in social media and things. But the idea that I'd like to share from it is, as sensitive and feeling people, sometimes we are faced in situations where someone is trying to rewrite our story and tell us, feed it back to us, but it doesn't feel truthful. And then we can kind of go into this place of self-doubt or questioning or, self-doubt is definitely a big theme today. So I'm curious whether anyone else is kind of having that show up in their life as well. But this gaslighting card feels like perhaps a force or person around you telling you a story that does not resonate with you, or telling a story of your reality that is like, that's not quite right. And it kind of creates this feeling of, oof, I need to, and that's because you're a sensitive person. People who are not sensitive take some sort of story like that and they go, that's not me. And they sort of throw it back out, right? Like we know people like that where, you say, oh, maybe this is kind of what's happening that's true for you. And if they don't agree with you, they just throw it right back at your face. When you are hearing something that is maybe not feeling quite true to you, it's causing you to go inward and sort of self-assess. But it's really to, your own, I'm not going to say demise because it's not that dark, but it's to your own detriment maybe, because you already have a sensation of that's not right. And so the fact that you're bypassing the sensation of that doesn't feel good, or that doesn't really feel true, or maybe I don't need to doubt myself as much as I actually am. Maybe there is a freedom beyond the self-doubt. That that's true. And so it's really about trusting what is felt and what the feeling is that sort of has that feeling of, oh no, I've got to look inward. That's because you're trying to protect the world around you from like a potential harm that you could be creating. But if you weren't to doubt yourself, you would continue just being the, kind and loving human that you are without that. So, and then the other one is gates. So that's the one I'm going to read. I don't actually know if I've ever pulled this for a client. So I'm really excited to read this card today because I don't even know what it's about. Some of them just repeat and show up, but okay, I'm going to read all of this. Gates. And look at this. We also have more mountains. So that mountain card, Leslie, you might want to listen to this, or Shri, you might have been resonating with Leslie's mountains of self-doubt. That's kind of funny. Okay, gates. Today I choose to choose. In this, I will begin to learn the dynamic of the energetic context of the presence of growth in choice. That was a bit wordy, but it is about making choices for what it is you want. And this is something I was talking about actually with my best friend today. Sort of, she was having this feeling of obligation, like everything that you're doing is like duties and obligations, and like there's like a lack of freedom in that. But the thing is, we're choosing to rise to the responsibility of our duties, and we're choosing to fulfill obligations and commitments. I think obligations is a really harsh word, kind of comes with a negative attitude or like kind of negative energy with it. It says so many times as an empath, two differing possibilities collide. The rambling in your thoughts, the experience of what your feelings are, and then the energy that presents itself from within or from outside of self. an experiential crossroad that is very real and at times with no clear answer because of the overload of information. This is where the gate derives its power, the duality of choice. So step into or freeze in the fear of mistake. The real gift waits on the other side. So it is about this mountain, like overcoming and crossing over into the part of your journey that feels like you're in the reward, you know? And that is a shift in perspective because you could see the reward before you even get to the top, right? When I start that mountain climb next time or whatever other mountain climb, I've said yes to like one a month, which just wish me luck on that because I'm sure they're going to get more difficult and more difficult. But when you're at the beginning of this mountain, to really see, man, that is a beautiful reward. And every step gets me closer to that reward. And every step of this path is beautiful. You know, it really was. I was really enjoying what I was doing, but there was a stretch where I was just like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And I was really down on myself. And I was down on myself because I was feeling the challenge. And you don't need to be down on yourself for feeling the challenge. That's how you rise to it, right? Stuff has to get kind of dense in order for it to become light. And that was that experience. That density, I just want to enjoy that density more next time. So the real gift waits on the other side. The place of energetic learning and strength that is gathered from the choosing to climb and move up and forward into the gift of who you are. So the question is, am I freezing in inactivity because I feel there's no clear direction of where to go or what to do? Know this, there is no wrong choice. There are only opportunities waiting to be experienced. Each choice will bring you closer to your most authentic expression of who you are. And that's all it's about, closer and closer to what is authentic. That's really our true goal, you know, in many ways, because we all have such individual journeys. We all have such unique pathways of healing. So we all have, you know, maybe similar challenges, you know, their self-doubt is in the air tonight. And so we have that in a similar experience, but the way I experience it is going to be different than the way Shri or Leslie experience it. And the reasons why are also different because they're all concocted from this beautiful tapestry, which is our own personal life experiences. So if you are having self-doubt, look at all the times in your life things have gone your way because you've gotten truer to who you are, because that is how it works, right? The more yourself you are, the more beautiful things actually come into your life. So let me know if that resonates. I do feel like those had a similar vibe to them, and I'm going to continue with Karen's reading as well. Lots of chatting. I'm going to make sure I'm plugged in. And I'm going to answer this question from Shri as well. So how? So can you please share how you realized your gifts about clairvoyance? And it's interesting. I was just talking about this today, actually. There's lots of different psychic clairs and senses. It's something that I teach a little bit later on in Empath Energetics because it's really, I think, very cool to know what is like your natural way of receiving intuitive information, and then also what is still possible for you. So I would actually say my strongest clair psychic skill, we're going to call it. I try not to call it like gifts or powers because I think all of us have this access. So if it's a power, we all have access to that same power. Okay. We're on the same page here. I just happened to maybe rapidly go at it, or I happened to have some positive childhood experiences within this realm that allowed me to feel more confident earlier on, right? Like that's the only real difference if you're not feeling like we are matched in psychic skill. And that's for anyone here. So I actually feel like my strongest psychic skill or clair is claircognizance, which is the experience of clear knowing or psychic knowing. So I just felt like a little know-it-all when I was a kid. And so it's really like information comes in and it's like a fact. So I'm talking to someone and they're like, how on earth did you know that? And I really didn't understand how I knew those, you know, pieces of information. Or people will say I'm extremely perceptive, almost to a point where it doesn't make sense to them. And it's because my ability to perceive is really just me knowing stuff. But it was really challenging to trust that, right? Because it's sort of like, you know, Kate, who do you think you are just telling people what you think you know about them? But the difference is I'm not thinking. I'm really not thinking. I use my thoughts and my thinking for things that I need my thinking for. This is like, woof, just talking. And so it's like I just know things and I'm saying it as if I know it and I'm certain. And that kind of confidence has only come because I've trusted, doing thousands of readings now at this point. I've trusted that, for whatever reason, I just happen to know stuff. Underneath that, I have clairsentience, as I would say my second strongest, which is clear feeling. And so being a feeling empathic, INFJ, just very sensitive. I've got a Cancer moon. I tend to lean towards emotional ways of relating to people and understanding situations. It's why I actually love doing love readings, because, or, interpersonal type readings, friendships or even things like that, because I can have a sense of how that person feels, So earlier on when Leslie was said the thing about courage, I was like, no, that person is very upset by the idea that they're not courageous. Like that really upsets them. And so I could feel sort of that emotion coming through, which required me checking my own emotions, right? Because I had to get my own out of the way in order to make sure that that's not just my own feeling within that, which is also, it's a really kind of subtle, interesting thing to try and tune into. With all of these psychic clairs and psychic senses, it's about receiving. Clairvoyance is also something that comes up for me. And I first experienced it when I was young and I had these psychic dreams. So you all witnessed this today, that I had this dream of me saying something a particular way. It was like literally those sentences. And I woke up with the thought of, oh, that was interesting. I wonder if I'm ever going to do a YouTube where I say those things. But I absolutely couldn't just recall that in the moment here because, you get little nerves, you're on live, or I'm not really thinking, so I'm just talking. So I wouldn't really have thought, oh, you can say those really helpful things you saw in that dream a few days ago, right? Like, so there's things like that where I've gotten a clear vision. Also, why am I here in Anamkara in Scotland in this caravan? It's like I've had clear visions of what my life is meant to show me. I've also maybe had visuals show up when I'm working with clients, but most of the time, claircognizance and clairsentience are my, more strong skills. And so to accept those and embrace those really has taken a good amount of time and putting myself out in the experience of testing that intuition and trying it out. When I first joined, I used to be on a psychic chat line and I really wanted to explore, am I psychic? Am I intuitive? Like, do I just have really good people reading skills? Because that's what some people will say, is that I'm just really good at reading people. But like, watching their behavior or saying the right thing. And that's what a lot of people feel psychics are doing, right? You'll see it on TV or something and it'll be like, oh, they're just saying the right things for that person. It's like, how do they know to say those things? But what I realized is even if I'm not seeing the person and I'm in like a 5-minute chat conversation with them, I can still say truthful things, having no real awareness of who they are, what they look like, or anything. It's entirely an energetic thing. And I think a lot of us have the ability to do this, and the experience is really what makes it believable, right? Like, I don't have to doubt myself now. Maybe I will still sometimes. I'll still say, hey, let me know if that resonates, because it's nice to know that I'm having a day where my intuition is sharp. But yeah, that self-doubt thing, that's pretty much how I self-realized these skills, really putting myself up to the experience of just testing it. And really, it's because I used to teach yoga and do Thai massage sessions, and I was an aromatherapist, and people kept coming to talk to me. So it's like I would do that work with them, but they also wanted to talk to me. They'd also want me to read cards. And so I just went, okay, there must be something there. People have often asked me for advice. So maybe I've always had these ways of feeling or knowing things and saying what someone needs to hear, like the right thing, for that person. And only recently have I understood actually, how to use that maybe. And recently being the last few years. So anyway, I'm glad that fully resonates with you. Will you succeed or not? Right? It's like, think of yourself at the bottom of the mountain, Karen, I'm starting your reading right here. Think of yourself at the bottom of the mountain, right? Like, will you succeed or not? That's probably your choice. There's a chance, a potential that I wouldn't be able to make it up. But our bodies, our minds, our energy, our soul, like we're capable of so much more than we realize. And the only way we can do that is actually just by putting ourselves up to the experience, by taking some sort of grand action. Ooh, Karen, you have purity. Oh, I see like there's someone telling some kind of false story about you. Don't jump to conclusions if this doesn't resonate right away, but I just kind of feel like someone like might be making you feel like you're not pure, you've done something wrong, or that like you're damaged or something. Like, I don't know, it kind of feels like even someone's just making a joke, but I don't like that kind of joke. I gotta say, I don't like having friends in my life who are like, oh, we're all broken together. Haha. I don't know. I think it's so much nicer to believe that someone can feel better than they're feeling rather than to bond over the suffering. That's okay to a certain extent. I'm not trying to judge that, but let me know if that resonates with you, Karen, if you're here. I know you said you were going to watch this later as well, so I recognize you might not be live, but do let me know if this does resonate. I'm going to read a bit of it. Yeah, and this is getting into a place of non-judgment, okay? So in the innocence of the moment, yay, good, I'm glad you're here. In the innocence of the moment, one has no judgment of good or bad. So in the seemingly random moments of feeling, you tend to reach into the past memory of experience and dictate into the present what the emotions of the moment should be. So what if you approach each presentation from others with a possibility that the dualistic, black and white judgment of your path might be dictating your intentions? So it's sort of asking you to really open your view, maybe listen more to what people are saying to you, it's like jumping to conclusions or something about it being about you. With the energy of innocence, there may be an opportunity to gain a better understanding of all the forces that make up the moment, allowing a better set of choices to be made. I really feel like a back down type of energy. If there's a feeling of like fighting, defending your honor or something like that, it's like, could you just shift into being like, I'm free and I'm pure and innocent and my love is good and my energy is good. My life is mine. And to sort of just remove yourself from the chaos or the darkness that is attempting to influence you. I just really get this feeling like there's someone, it's like very unsettling. It's like something's causing you to really question your confidence. Yeah, this is the purity card, but also just me riffing. I very rarely can get through an entire reading without interrupting with my own input here. But it says, it is not that you should trust your instincts, but instincts gained from prior wounds. It's not that you should not trust your instincts, but instincts gained from prior wounds serves no one. So it's like the way you're interpreting a situation or the way that something's coming across to you almost feels like it reminds you of things of the past that you've been through that you don't want to go through again. And so it's like, it's this jumping to conclusions energy that I feel like you're being asked to just take a different look at your thinking. Actually, Karen, I would totally recommend make sure that you're subscribed here and you get notifications, because this week I am going to be releasing some faulty thinking videos. And faulty thinking is one of these things I teach in Empath Energetics. So I'm just going to touch on it on the YouTube. So if you want to expand on it, obviously the Empath Energetics program will be mid-April. But the faulty thinking patterns that you're being asked to remove here is sort of like catastrophizing, like making something bigger or darker than it actually needs to be. And that could include your own pain, your own suffering as well. As an empath, you can feel beyond the pictures and the labels of your wounded past. By staying in the innocence of the experience, and this is true, like this is something I do a lot actually with friends as well, is try to vouch for the innocence of people. Try not to believe that people are actually out to get you, but actually they're just reacting from their own wounded place. Doesn't mean you got to be around them anymore. Doesn't mean you need to take any type of harsh judgments or abuse or anything, but it does have you feeling better, because it does not feel good to hold judgments of others. It does not feel good to be vengeful or spiteful or resentful. I don't think this is like totally the energy you're in, but there's like hints of it, you know? And so if you can hold on to the innocence of the experience just as a child feels, or see other people as the child that they are, the inner child, you know, trying to express itself, emotions can be navigated from one experience to the next without the burden of emotional baggage. So, can I overcome past wounds to feel the purity of the moment? Am I quickly jumping to conclusions and not allowing the flow of energetic information to give me all the necessary clues? So it is definitely about staying back a little, listening with sort of that open heart, open mind, and this idea that if you think one thing, then there's also a truth, which is the opposite. And so it's like the truth is somewhere actually in the gray and in the middle of those two things. Sometimes when we're dealing with people, that really makes a lot of sense, right? They see it this way, I see it this way. Somewhere in between. Let me know if that resonates with you. I would love to know. Now, Joe, okay. Da, 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 da. I have, this is really funny. I have Indiana Jones in my head, Joe. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means to you or for you, but like, as soon as I started tuning into your energy, it was like, da, 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 da. Is that Indiana Jones? Anyways, I don't know what that means. Maybe you're going on a crusade, you're going on an adventure of some kind. And we also have the crown chakra. I really like this for you, Joe. I get the feeling like you actually might have gotten some clarity recently. Or if you're feeling in a fuzzy zone, it's like this is on the other side. Shri, thank you for confirming that was Indiana Jones. You know, when I say I don't think, I really am not thinking. You know, it's just whatever comes through is meant to be here. So crown chakra for you, Joe. The energetic colors are white or violet, so you might find yourself drawn to those or wanting to incorporate them more. Something I used to do when I was working with the different chakras, learning about them and things, and I would feel a certain wound, or I would feel maybe a certain pattern around a specific chakra area or zone, is I would actually change the background of my phone to be a color that resonated with me for healing. Because how many times do you look at your phone in a day? Now, how easy is it for you to use your phone background as a healing tool? In fact, right now, I'm going to show you my phone background. It's not a color. I've moved on past the colors, or perhaps I just don't need a color right now. This is my grandfather, who I didn't know. I've never met him in this life. But he was a Scottish doctor. His family was from Scotland, and he was born in Scotland. He moved to Newfoundland and was a military doctor, actually. So my father has, I think, a lot of qualities that his father had, and I feel a really close connection to my father and a resonance with the way that he is in the world. So it makes me think, you know, there's something to this patrilineal lineage, this father line of my healing. And I've talked to my dad a few times about my ancestry, and he said that most of the men on his father's side were doctors or ministers or priests. So healing, helping the world, and also spiritual understanding and connection is something that I really feel very connected to with this side of my lineage. So Joe, you might want to change your phone background because I'm feeling like going off about that. Oh my gosh, that's such a cute emoji. I'm loving all the little emojis here. I don't think I realized that YouTube has so many of them. So feel free to just send me your favorite emoji. Fun fact, and actually I'm going to do a TikTok about this later probably, is I think it's like a really cool exercise. It's not a fun fact. It's a cool exercise to see what 5 emojis you would represent yourself with. I did this today with my best friend, and it was really funny to see what she gave me. Um, let me see what she actually said. I'm going to be here a little past an hour today, so hopefully you're all right with that. She gave me a nerd face to start things off. Clearly a best friend. A nerd face, a witch, a little sad emotional face, like a writing hand, like kind of creative or writer, and then a fox, which I really loved. So it felt actually very honest. It's really cute. Okay. So Joe, I am connected to source. I am filled from source. My experience is source, and source becomes who I am. So if you have any doubt in your mind whatsoever that you are on a spiritual path and you have a journey in this lifetime that includes more spiritual activation, more light feelings, and more connection to a source of power that is beyond yourself, put that to rest, because this crown chakra opening is really meant to bring you closer to your own soul truth and does not feel far from your energy. So if it does not feel like this right now, it really does feel like you're just reaching it or just getting onto the other side. And if you already have, what you might be noticing is a lot more clarity and a lot more peace, actually. I know that my crown chakra is feeling healthy when I have a sense of peace and trust in what is and what is to come. So the crown chakra is located at the top of the head, and it is where universal life force enters and begins its journey into our experience. As this light enters, and Karen, you might want to listen to this as well, because I just saw the word purity or purist. As the light enters, it is given without conditions in its purest form, a love that is profound. This life force is free to be used so that we may experience the energy of our choices, and each person receives the same light in equal portion. Many soon forget that which they desire is already entering their systems as they get lost in the lessons of the below chakras. Yeah, the colors super resonate. I feel so much violet towards your energy right now. The creative forces give us this love without conditions, but one does not have to look far to see that conditional is what most humans are. The lessons of sharing love and light, when realized and overcome, gives us a greater understanding of divinity. So every challenge and every piece that comes to you that doesn't feel like truth is just getting you closer to the top of the mountain, right? It's like, what I was trying to practice unconditional love and source connection and all this clear energy, but then life showed up, or this person just gave me such conditions in our connection, or whatever the situation shows. That's your halfway up the mountain point. That's your, I see the rocks, what the heck, I have to get to the top of that. I don't even know if I can do that. I don't even know if that exists. I was like, maybe the top doesn't exist. It seriously was my thought. I was like, are we ever going to get there? It was so desperate, right? The way our mind works. So you might want to do some crown chakra healing, maybe listening to some healing frequencies, perhaps just imagining more light in and around you, right? That white light, or maybe even violet light, but also this crown. Like you might want to picture yourself with a crown. And when you feel powerless, just picture yourself having this crown on top. I don't know. There's something about that, I think. Maybe that's what you'll change your phone background to, is something with a crown or an actual crown. There's a lot of icky things that can go along with crowns and royalty and regality and stuff, but there's also a lot of beauty. And it is a spiritual thing to be having like a head adornment. And the reason that so many cultures and so many religions and spiritual practices include head covering is because it does feel like that's where we receive our connection to source and to God and to, whatever you want to resonate with. Joe, let me know if there's anything more that comes out of that, but I think that's a really positive message for you here. Okay, Jay, nice to see you, Jay. I'm glad that you're here on this oracle reading. Jay, what does Jay need? Ooh, that one just flew out. In contrast to the crown chakra, we have earth. Earth. This red groundedness at the bottom. Earth. And the number is 11, Jay. So if you've been seeing 1111 lately, take that as like extra validation. I go through phases, right, where you see a lot of repeating numbers. I've been seeing 1212 all the time this week. It's just been like so ever present. So you might want to look up, 1111, or if you're noticing, Jay, that you're like seeing more and more repeated numbers, you might want to start looking them up. We just reached the hour point. You might want to start looking them up. Oh, today is the 11th. Oh, there you go. There you go. I knew there was a reason I was talking about that. All right. Of the earth, my body is formed each day, and by the energies of my experience shall seek her out. So you're looking to connect to earth. And this is, I know it's something that's already important to you, but I'm wondering how much you're practicing that. There's a difference between believing and knowing something and then doing something. So I feel like you need to go and do some earth connection. A precious moment to an empath is the remembering with every cell that our body is made up of the energy of the earth. With this knowledge, we practice the remembrance of grounding. Every stone, every plant, every tree, and all the creatures that walk and swim, each has gifted their energies and elements into creating our body. Just as a tree sends roots down into the earth, mingling with all the stone beings in the fertile soil, there is an anchoring to the earth. So it's not about going to the earth like the surface of the earth. It's about going deeper, right? This is sort of an experience that maybe I haven't talked about much, but when I'm here in Scotland, I feel like my feet are actually like somehow below the earth, like by a foot or two. I feel much more grounded, much more stable. And I think part of that is just my own energetic connection here. And part of that is because this is really in soul alignment. And so I'm able to ascend higher by grounding myself even deeper, even lower. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Just like there is strength in the ability to pass through as all the energetic experience of our bodies to the ground, just like a lightning rod, a lightning rod. This is why I don't go past an hour. My language is going to devolve. Just like a lightning rod is grounded to the earth to render an explosive charge harmless, so are we grounded to disperse the emotional turmoil of life as it enters our system. So whatever stuff you got, whatever things are bothersome to you right now or not satisfying, give them to the earth. The earth can cleanse. The earth will heal. The earth will transmute, and it will ground you so that you can see more clearly how to get back on track with your authentic self. Feeling partway up the mountain. Ugh, yep, been there, clearly. Literally been there. I think that's going to be a really useful symbol for me for a long time, this mountain story. Yeah, it was beautiful, stunning mountain. I really highly recommend reaching out to me so I can share these mountains with you, because it was like surreal, actually, the landscape. So Jay, I'm also feeling like almost like a discomfort with earth the way that it is, or reality the way that it is. And so you're being asked to take that discomfort and take this, whatever is not working, and give it to the earth. Seriously, take an action of saying, here's, what you could do. This is what I see you doing, but do what you want. But what I could see you doing is like taking rocks that symbolize, maybe going on a walk, picking up rocks that symbolize the weights, the things that are bringing you down, and then bury them in the earth. Literally put them in the earth and say, I'm giving them to you. Now, once you've done that, you've got to do your best to stay grounded. And then hopefully your mind will feel clear enough that you'll just feel pulled and connected to what's next, that is really aligned. And it's really not in alignment for us to be in confusion and doubt and suffering. Like, it really isn't. Alignment is that trust and that just feeling really good, and you deserve to feel that. And so give it to the earth. Give it to the earth. Let me know if that resonates with you, Jay. Now I'm moving on to Stacy. Oh, goodness. I also definitely get looking out at the stars. There's like snowflake kind of star things in the background there. And I just have this feeling right now, actually, in the collective, that more people need to be connecting to the stars and the sky. That's myself as well. You know, where I am right now, there's like this deck that overlooks all of Inverness. Like I'm on a really big hill. And a lot of, because there's water nearby, like over there, a lot of the weather sort of passes through. It's very like moody. The other day I woke up and it was like a mist and a fog had descended over the city. You could barely see the city, you know. There's like snow on faraway mountains I can see. It's a very interesting kind of climate. But when the sky opens up and I can see all the stars, it's like I feel small and I feel part of this massive thing, you know. And that duality of experience, this I'm just a speck, but I'm also stardust. I'm part of this beautiful, grand, you know, existence. I think is so potent and powerful. When you look at the stars, that's, you know, that's a nice, cool way to approach it in your mind. It's not like they're just stars chilling. They're like magical things. Stars. Okay, 2 keep coming out for you, Stacy. Haven't been outside much because of the snow, and you'll do what I suggested. Cool. Yeah, I would love to know how that goes for you. That's really cool. I don't think I've ever given someone that task. So Jay, this is your Indiana Jones adventure. I really think it's funny that I was singing Indiana Jones for Joe's. I don't know what that means at all for you. I think it's funny. Okay, Stacy, your story and past. Your story. Anyone else, let me know if I'm missing you, if you'd like me to do a reading. If you're here, I would love if you could just press the like button, because I know myself, I always forget once the thing ends. I'm just like, oh, doing my life. And it really does help me out, helps the channel out. And that's like a perfect way to kind of show appreciation for this as well. I think it's really good. We sort of show gratitude for the spirits and the powers that be allowing these messages to come through for you. You know, I am but a channel, a YouTube channel, but also an oracle, a psychic channel. And another thing, you know, you can make sure you're subscribing and the notifications. I have links all below. So if you're interested in Empath Energetics, or you're just interested in working with me and you want to book a little 15-minute session, or you just want to book a reading with me and see that, you can see all those links below. And the other thing that I will say too is there is a donation button, because sometimes people feel really compelled, like they get a lot of help from what I'm saying and they want to give me some sort of donation to kind of keep that energy flowing. I'm the same way. When I go look at readings, even if they're sort of free readings, I try to find a way that I can just give anything, you know, something, because it just keeps that energy flow and keeps it circling and doing good. So no pressure at all, but it is there if that's something that you're feeling called to do. Okay, 54, your story, Stacy. 54. Each page that I write of my experience will be one of wonder and in knowing that I wield the pen. Beliefs, wounds, other projections, and overall feelings of negativity can all lead you into a story that you can't seem to escape. You are not a label. You are not your wounds, and other projections are their experience, not yours. Anchoring to the story limits you in your ability to experience that which awaits. Have I become what others need me to be, losing myself in their neediness? So I'm not going to read all of that because I do have this other card for you, Stacy. And yes, Aid, I will happily read one for you as well. But I am getting this feeling of like rewriting your story, making sure you feel like you're the one in control, very much ignoring what other people believe your story is. Just push it right to the side. It's like entirely irrelevant information, completely irrelevant what someone else thinks your story is. In this category of what your story is could also be what your problems are, what your wounds are, what your struggles are. You may be writing your story based on what you think other people think. And yeah, what other people think of you is entirely, you know, it's relevant to their story. There was this quotation I saw on social media recently of like, you're going to be the villain in someone's story. And I know that's true of me. I know that there are people who have been in my life who prefer to put me in a place of the villain because it helps their story. And if they somehow have a heroic, overcoming of whatever they feel that is, all the power to them and the better for them, right? It's not my job to change someone else's story of who I am. It's my job to write my own darn story. And also like to make sure it's written the way that I feel I want it to be. And that requires you doing what you want, really, and taking that pen in hand and say, okay, what's next? So the past is where I come from. Let me remember with honor its teaching. So it's not about putting your entire past away. And actually, I was feeling this with Shri as well, and it might resonate with someone else too, that your past is actually showing you what your future is, but it's not going to repeat if you don't want it to. So the pains that you've had of the past are the things that you're meant to ascend, transcend, overcome in this lifetime. So, example, fear of success, right? Or another example, fear of being alone. If that is such a big fear, then part of your journey is overcoming the mountain to success, right? Or maybe finding your own unique success, what your version of success, redefining what success looks like is most of the time what people are actually chewing on. It's not, are you going to succeed? It's like, what is success to me, to my soul, to my spiritual evolution in this one lifetime at a time that we're in? And for Stacy, it feels like a bit more about this other people and what they think of you. So it's like your own unique perspective of who you are is, and your authentic expression of self is all that you're here to keep lasering into. So anyone else's version of you is super irrelevant because your path is figuring it out for yourself. It is true that the past is where each of us has come from with all its triumphs, joys, hurts, and sorrows, some that seem to have left marks upon us. But when you let the past define you, it is difficult to be in the present moment, missing opportunities that arise to interact without judgment. So it says, as an empath, your intuition is one of your greatest gifts or skills and a wonderful tool. But its true ability is only realized when you're present in the moment from a place that isn't filled with wounds from your past. So try entirely rewriting your story, right? If your story is feeling like, oh gosh, there's a lot of like stuff holding me back, well, rewrite it. That's not a good story. That's not going to be a good heroic tale of, overcoming great adversity. So rewrite it, write what you do want. That's funny. I just pulled a bunch of cards just flew out, and one of them was the adversity card as I was saying that. So you don't need to write your story with adversity being the main theme. Okay. Wow. Aid, I keep getting 2 cards for you. Here I am. I don't normally stay on for a whole hour. So, this kind of tells me I might be getting close to the time where I have to do donation only unless you're a current client. But for now, I'm really quite okay with this. Okay, A, you have Predator and Chaos. Whoa. Whoa. Some interesting energy. Stacy, been working on letting go of people, on letting go of what people think I am. Absolutely. Yeah, that's the mission. And really the mission too is letting go of what you think people think you are. Like it's just not relevant. It's just not important information to you. What's more important is how you're feeling, that you're happy, that you're searching for fulfillment, that you're growing, that you are loving, you're putting more love out into the world. There's certain things that are just more important than a lot of those stressors or opinions of others. Okay, Aid. Predator. As the predators of life hunt, I relinquish my role as prey on their journey. This is like, I will not be victimized. I will not be made small. I will not bend, that kind of energy. The role of the empath can be fraught with those who take and are drawn to you because of your higher vibrational stance. It's as if they can sense your open heart and see your loving nature as a vulnerability to be exploited. Again, rewrite that story. Here I am. I will love you. I will help you. I will listen. Becomes a beacon that attracts not only those who cannot help themselves, but also those who refuse to do the work for themselves. So gauge your energetic experience in every relationship. And if it becomes evident that you're being drained, choose to cut the cord and walk away. No one will learn the aspects of their own energetic experience if you're going to fill them with yours. You need to break the cycle of dependency so that they can learn to fly on their own. And in that, you free them, truly, right? Have I enabled someone so that they cannot find their own inner strength? Am I being drained by someone whose part in the relationship is at a much lower vibration than my own? And these are harsh things to realize, to affirm, to recognize, and to commit to, right? It's difficult to commit to a real difference in energetic experience. And sometimes you're not meant to entirely sever or cut the cord, but cut the cord of, you can rely on me for this, right? People need to rely on themselves and learn how to do that, which requires us not allowing them to rely on us, right? It's not about saying you're on your own. It's about saying we're all on our own and we're all together as well. We're all together in that. Something I talk about a lot with my parents, actually, because they were each raised in a situation where they built a lot of independence, and then they both left home, and then they were very independent. They've built a life, a beautiful life for our little family of their own design. And I think in some ways they struggle with a lack of faith that people are going to be there for them, right? Because they felt that they weren't, and they felt they needed to overcome that. And at the same time, they had these kids. Now I'm there for them. And I'm like, actually, people can be there for you. What do you need? And, it's sort of like a weird paradigm to try and shift out of, because it feels unsafe. But it's important to recognize, we're here for others, but we are all on our own journeys as well, and we need to face those things ourselves. Okay. Chaos. How many times do we hold on to beliefs, people, or situations, all from a perceived fear of letting go? When we do realize, most times because of our energy of control, that we can no longer sustain the inevitable, we soon realize our fears were hindering our ability to see a deeper opportunity to be plucked from the chaos, which I love. It's like you just weren't seeing anything because you were in chaos. And then it's like, whoa, it was right there. It was right there the whole time for the taking, this opportunity. The universe always provides. Am I free to experience what is offered in this moment of chaos? Or am I hindered by using my energy to hold back the chaos, which holds all the parts of its wild and energetic abandon? Energetic abandon feels like a total great next step for you. It feels like you're meant to free yourself from other people's things, really just so that you have your own time and ability to express your soul more fully. So it's like, it really just doesn't have that much to do with other people, but it also requires you severing some type of connection with others that maybe are just not in balance. Yeah. Does the fear of being wild and unfettered cause me to retract into a colorless state? And this is so full of color. This feels like your next step, right? Is like that type of life expression. That's pretty wicked. That's pretty feminine. It's like really feminine chaos in a beautiful way. This is what you're meant to receive. So relinquish your role as prey or victim or beat down by anything, and then embrace this artistic, fluid, expansive nature. Let me know if that resonates with you. I have loved doing these readings. It has been so nice hanging out with you all. I really feel so blessed that we have internet in this lifetime. How cool is this? That I'm in Scotland and able to connect to you all and give some of these tools and these readings. I am forever healed by helping deliver these messages. Sometimes I go back and listen to myself and say, oh, those are things I needed to hear. You're welcome to come back and look at this please make sure that you are subscribed so you see notifications. I'm going to come on live tomorrow, but it'll be a bit earlier. I just changed the time of it. So I did have it later, but I changed the time of it so that I can go out in the evening. And I am starting my shamanic training again, round 2 on Tuesday. So you're probably going to see some videos from me this week, but also I will be sort of in the shamanic world doing that. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Yeah, it's my highest honor, truly, to be able to serve in this way. Feel really, really grateful in this lifetime that I'm able to feel this way that I'm feeling. And if it's helpful to any of you to do further work with me, then please reach out. And if not, then I'll just see you at the next oracle reading. So hope you enjoy the rest of your days or evenings, wherever you are. Clearly, it's gotten dark on me in the course of this. Energetic abandonment. Interesting. What I should run towards. Color and chaos. Yeah. And you know what? It might also just be some art time that you feel like. That's what I'm feeling for myself as well. It's like, it's time for some real art, some real it's like take your top off and throw paint at the wall. It's like something really like abandon, reckless abandon. Who knows if that's what I'll do? No promises, but okay. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day and evening, everyone. It was a pleasure, an honor. We'll see you again soon. Okay, take care.